Council, looks like they want to cut the pay scale on the volunteers. There's a lot of people not agreeing with that within the volunteers. The use of our vehicles, we do probably 90% of the work at the fires. The paid firemen do their job, they operate the trucks. We do all the firefighting, extrications, search and rescues. I'm very nervous, so a lot of times we latch onto the trailer to bring the four-wheelers to grass bars. Many times when we get off work, we have to rush to the station for trainings. Each supper at 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night because we're training. And missing time with our families. We get up at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, spend 4 or 5 hours fighting fires, very cold weather, very hot weather, for $20. The reason they bought it up to $20, it used to be $3 at one time. They bought it up to bring more people into the department and to keep them in there. And now they've got that, they've got a good department, well, the 3 of us. And now they're wanting to pull that away from us. We just don't agree with it. Gas is expensive, and our time is valuable. We're missing time with our families. We're also certified EMTs and first responders. We went through, I think, 60 hours of training to do that. This time we could have spent at home. But we did that to help the city of Eunice and the surrounding area. And we do this most of the time with people we don't even know. And I really, a psychiatrist once said that volunteer firefighters are crazy because they'll get out of their beds in the middle of the night for basically nothing and risk their lives to go and help people save their lives and property. We just don't think it's fair they're going to cut our pay. There's quite a few of the firefighters that depend on these checks at the end of the year to make their Christmas for their children and their families. And we just don't understand why we're getting cut. And that nothing against the paid department, but they get 2 hours and they show up for 5 minutes at a fire and they get overtime. They're not getting cut, but we are, and we do most of the work. We'd just like you to take that into consideration. I just think it's going to hurt our departments is what it's going to do. There's a lot of people that's unhappy about it. They couldn't all be here tonight. And we just actually think it over real hard before we don't make a final decision over it.
Eric, did y'all receive a letter from the meeting that the chiefs had in reference to the pay scale?
No, sir. We were kind of told what it would be, but nothing formal.
I'm going to read you one. I'm going to read you the first sentence, second sentence of the paragraph. And I, Interim Chief Brian Miller, had a meeting with the volunteer chiefs again on the matter, meaning the pay scale. We came up with the pay scale that all agreed and voted on, and that's where your pay scale came from. It came from the recommendation of the chiefs.
Correct. It was negotiated, and like I said, I hadn't seen anything formal, but we were told that they want to start it out at $3, and that our chiefs negotiated up to where it's at now.
Well, I don't know anything about the 3.
Well, we just, Mr. Moody, with all due respect, we just don't think it's fair. We do a lot of work out there for the city of Eunice.
And you appreciate it, I want y'all to know that. But last year, to paying the firefighters, volunteers, was a little over $60,000. That's a big chunk out of the city budget.
Yes, sir.
And I'm not saying y'all don't deserve it.
Right, and between Decatur Parish District 4 and, if I'm not mistaken, in St. Landry Parish District 6, if I'm not mistaken, we pay the city almost $500,000 a year between the 2 departments. Mm-hmm. If I'm not, I know the numbers are roundabout, but we just think for the fire department we have a good department. At $20 a fire is not much.
I move we adopt the minutes of the regular meeting, February 10th, 2015.
I have a motion.
I'll second the motion.
I have a motion on the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. No notice to show cause. Ms. Kelly Pete, would you care to come up and talk about the Crawfish A2 Fade Cook-Off?
Hi, my name is Kelly Peak. I am acting chamber president, and I would like to talk to you about the Eunice World Championship Crawfish A2K Cook-Off. As you know, the chamber took it over 2 years ago. We very much appreciate the support from the city. It will be held on March 29th from 10 to 4.
How do they register to cook?
You can go to the website. It's a2kcookoff.org.
Hello, Council, I'm here again. This is a grant from DOTD Aviation to supply the engineering services for an add-on. We're already in negotiations for a runway overlay. We're going to include a taxiway overlay, but the FAA did not want to pay for the engineering on the taxiway overlay, so the state has agreed to pay for it. That's what this grant is for. It's a grant that we will pay the fees to Oak Grant Associates when the contract comes through, and we will be reimbursed 100%.
I have a letter from the president of the Library System Board of Directors, directed to Mayor Moody and the members of the Eunice City Council. Board of Directors of the Opelousas Eunice Public Library System nominates Mr. John R. Young to fill the remainder of Mr. Ricky Cootie's board term, which he resigned due to his health concerns. Mr. Young is a respected citizen of Eunice. He is a successful businessman and experienced manager of his business. He is eager to work for the library and is anxiously awaiting his appointment so that he can work for the betterment of our Bi-City Library. Thanking you for your consideration. I am. The last 4 or 5 appointments we have made to the library board have been people who were suggested by the existing board of directors. And the reason for that is because we've had very few people complete a term over that. It's no compensation. It can be demanding, has been demanding, because we've lost a couple of directors in recent years. And the fact that we've got a prominent businessman here in town who's willing to step into that role, I think would be a great assistance.
I'll make a motion, Mr. Mayor, that we appoint Mr. John R. Young to the library board in place of Mr. Ricky Cootie.
I second the motion.
Have a motion on the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Chief Fontenot?
Mayor, Council, short agenda for you this month. I have one recommendation to hire a provisional jailer, Mr. Greg Reed. He was here. Oh, there he is. He is currently taking the civil service. Well, he's scheduled to take the civil service exam, turn in his application today, I believe. The deadline was today. And so it'd be a provisional hire until we can get the results of that test score and the civil service board approves that.
I move that we accept the chief's recommendation to declare the 2002 Ford van as surplus.
I'll second Mr. Burton's motion.
Have a motion on the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Chief?
All right, the last thing is a little bit of information at the request of the Citizens Advisory Committee. They asked if we could give a talk each month, and that's what I'm here to do now. The first thing I want to do is mention somebody had sent me a little article, and which contained a scripture following or in response to one of the newspaper articles about the recent thefts of vehicles and vehicle burglaries that we had. And that scripture comes out of Proverbs. It says, depending on which version of the Bible you're reading, but a prudent man sees danger and takes refuge, but the simple keep going and suffer for it. And I said, well, that fits those burglaries and everything good, and in relation to that article we had in the newspaper, but it also fits in other ways, and that's how the police and the public interact with each other. Our policemen are human. We expect them, and I do expect them to, in the face of danger, be brave, be courageous. We expect them to put up with a lot of adverse comments from the public. I don't expect them to retaliate against people because of things that they say. It's all included in our policies. And I would hope that our officers would take this proverb into consideration before they do anything that would be adverse. That they could see the danger of their actions if they react to something that most people would react to. You know, if somebody's not paying them the respect that they feel they deserve or anything like that. And we get cussed out a lot of police officers. And we have to take it. That's what it boils down to. But the officer should see that danger of reacting to that type of conflict and realize that if they do react to it, they could suffer for it, just like the proverb says. On the other hand, the public needs to realize that when they approach a police officer, the police officer expects them to keep their hands out in the open so that they can see that there's no weapons or anything putting them in fear, to put them in fear of danger. The officers encounter a lot of different things out there that most of the public doesn't realize and doesn't see because they're not out there every day with those police officers. Remember, our police officers, 80% of the time, they're dealing with only 20% of our population. And they forget a lot of times that 80% of our population are the good people out there. So they have a tendency to approach everyone in the public the same as they do the criminals out there. And I'm not saying it's right, but they're doing it for their own safety. They might tell you to stay back if you're approaching a scene. It's not that they want to be rude to you most of the time, it's that they want to protect the scene, they want to protect the people there. They don't know why you're approaching unless you talk to them about it, but they may not have time to talk to you about that reason then and there. So when they give a verbal command, I'm going to ask the public to be respectful of that and do what they ask you to do. And it's for your safety, their safety, and the safety of the others around. I've had instances where people were stopped for traffic violations. They came out arguing with the police officer first thing. And the police officer's first intent, and I know this from personal interactions, the police officer's original intent may be just to give you a warning. But if you come out with an attitude and you start arguing with the officer right off the bat before he gets to say anything, you might leave with a ticket that he otherwise had not intended to give you. So take that as a sign of danger if you're going to come out with an argumentative attitude that you might have to suffer from it. And I thought that proverb was pretty good. When somebody said it to me, I said, this can apply in many ways in the police officer's daily life.